welcome to 2 Minute Gospels. My name is Trinity Meddy, and this is my dad, Michael James Meddy. He's wearing black, and I love wearing pink and purple because that's my personality. Today, we are going to be talking about the 4th Sunday of Lent and the Gospel of John. And we are going to begin in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So this Sunday in the Gospel, we are talking...
Words.
What are you saying? This Sunday in the Gospel, we are going to...
Maybe if you didn't wear pink, we wouldn't have this problem.
What is going on? Jesus walks up to a blind man and heals him of his sight.
There's a lot of this gospel is about sight and seeing, and that's always a good metaphor for being able to see with God's eyes and having kind of divine understanding. All throughout history, that's like a symbol that like sight equals like divine wisdom in that. And so I think the key to this gospel is when the disciples ask at the beginning, is this man born blind because of his sin or because of the sin of his parents? See, everyone kind of assumed that you were born with that kind of deformity or that lack because of sin, that physical things were a manifestation of a spiritual disconnect between you and God. We know now that's not the case. People aren't born, with Prader-Willi syndrome or with mental retardation or different disabilities because of sin. They're still children of God. They're still made in God's image and likeness. But the disciples kind of say, well, is it because of A or B? And Jesus is like, neither. He was born this way so that you could see that I am God, and he heals him right there. He's like, this is why he was born this way, so that he can show God's glory. And that's a good lesson for all of us. We're all called to reflect God's glory. That's the lesson right there. Everything after that is all kind of arguing about semantics and like, well, what do you think? And everyone, you can tell people are kind of pointing the finger. It reminded me a lot when you were reading it of Genesis, and like when Adam sins and Eve, passes the buck over and over again. That people don't take responsibility for their actions, and so. It's very important that we take responsibility, that we say we're sorry when we're sorry, especially during this season of Lent, so that we can see with God's eyes. This has been 2 Minute Gospels. Thank you so much, Trinity, for your insight this Sunday. We really appreciate it. Go to Mass.
Go with God. We are not using that one. We are repeating that one.
Nope, that's it.
What?
Okay, so Trinity felt like she didn't get a word in there because she thought I was humming, and we'll tell by the evidence there was no humming involved.
I would like to say...
This is what she had prepared to talk about. Go.
I was prepared to talk about, so in the readings, over and over again, you see that the blind man is there, and you see he keeps trying to tell the Pharisees, like, his story and exactly what's going on. The Pharisees are like, no, there's no way that, like, this guy could actually be, like, a famous prophet or someone actually important. So they kept dismissing him. They call in his parents. His parents are like, he can talk for himself, leave me alone. And so they bring him back in, they're like, how did you regain your sight? He's like, dude, I told you already. I literally just told you. Why do you want me to say it again? And so they ask his opinion. He says, I think this guy's a prophet, and I don't think he could have possibly done exactly what he did unless he was close with God and was without sin or like was a good person. I don't think he's actually the devil incarnated or whatever. And so they threw him out because they are in constant denial of what's actually going on. And I felt like, especially when I was younger, that could kind of relate to my spiritual life, where I would pray and then I would imagine different things in my head. I would imagine being with Jesus. I would imagine these different images or scenes or in my prayer. And I used to think, no, they can't possibly be from God. That can't possibly be something actually important or special. That's just whatever. And as it goes throughout, you see at the very end, he meets back up with Jesus when Jesus found out he was thrown out. And Jesus says, do you believe in the Son of God? He says, I don't know who he is. Can you tell me who he is? And he says, he is the one that healed you, and he is the one that's speaking to you right now. And he says, I do believe. And then he praised God. And I felt like it was really interesting hearing the reading over and over again and hearing just all the people that were in denial of what was going on, even though Jesus was right there in front of them the whole time.
This has been 5 Minute Gospel.
See you later.